G'day, it's Justin here with All Things Outdoors. This morning I'm in beautiful Wangaratta. Just parked the car at my workplace, which is only a couple hundred metres back that way. And I'm about to set off on a 50k overnight kayak camping and fishing trek down to the township of Peechelba on the lower Ovens River. Now I've stashed the kayak just up here a bit at the Frank Garth Reserve, where I ended my last trip from the Pioneer Bridge. So today, obviously, I'm going to set off from there to go further downstream. So hopefully my kayak's here when I get back. Got really nice weather for the next couple of days. I'm only just doing a one-nighter with tops around about the 30-degree mark. Overnight, a little bit cooler, 12 degrees, which will be interesting because I'm trying out a new way of sleeping, so stay tuned for that one. But it's going to be a pretty good trip. The lower Ovens is a lot calmer than the upper Ovens, so there's less rapids and that sort of stuff, deeper holes, and the fishing is a bit better too. You can get bigger Murray cod down there, so hopefully we'll get a few more than last time. So stay tuned, it's going to be a great video. Now hopefully my kayak's still there. I think I stashed it in a pretty good spot where no one could see it, and yep, there it all is. And when I was dropping it off here, I noticed a really bad stench, and I just figured out what it was. Someone has dumped a whole bunch of carp down here that they've caught, which I guess isn't such a bad thing because you can't throw them back in the river because they're an invasive species. It's illegal to throw them back, but the downside is they get left on the riverbank and stink up the place. Now it says the river's still closed due to a truck that crashed into the Ovens River further upstream from me. If you remember from my last video, I crossed under the Hume Freeway, the big freeway bridges. The truck actually crashed off there into the water, so a good thing I wasn't paddling underneath at the time. But it says that the river between the edge of boat ramp at Frank Garth Reserve, as in here, and the Hume Freeway Bridge is closed. But that's alright because we're going downstream from here, so we're all good. And we are away. 50 k's, 2 days. Today's going to be the toughest one though. Today we have 32 kilometres to go and 18 tomorrow. The reason why we're doing 32 today and 18 tomorrow is that I need to make the start of the Warby-Ovens National Park so that we can camp in there rather than having to camp in people's private property. But that's okay. The last trip we did, I did 20 k's in 4 hours, so I've sort of calculated on a 5 kilometre an hour pace, and that should see us, I'll be conservative and estimate it to be about 7 hours, and hopefully we can do a bit of fishing in between too. But what we might do is make up some k's early this morning so that we can take our time later on. Just coming under the bridge now, Harford Road Bridge in Wangaratta. And it's a nice stretch of paddling. Straight up in a few hundred metres time, I've got a portage to do already. It's only a little small weir that goes across the river, but from memory it's not too daunting, so we'll see how we go with that one. I think, I can't recall, but I think there may be another one a bit further downstream before we actually get out of the Wangaratta township. We'll be paddling next to the township for probably the first hour or so before we start to get out into the farmland to the north of the river, and then it starts to become quite windy, and I'll have to keep my wits about me because there's quite a few billabongs down there where we could accidentally take a wrong fork of the river, but hopefully it's not too hard to judge and we won't get lost. But it gets worse the further down you go. More billabongs, more anna branches and offshoots and things like that, so we want to try and stay on the main course of the river so that we're not doing extra Ks and possibly getting into camp in the dark. I don't know whether you can see there, but see that jetty sitting there, it's almost underwater. The water level's still relatively high after the rain that we had in early December, and the whole reason why this trip is happening in early January and not early December. Had it all planned to go out on the weekend of, what was it, the 1st, 2nd and 3rd of December, which coincides with the Murray cod season opening, and then they went and forecast 200 plus millimetres of rain to fall over that weekend.
And the heaviest rainfall is expected between Friday afternoon and Sunday afternoon over northern Victoria.
So, decided to err on the side of caution and not go. As it turns out, it wasn't as bad. I mean, the river was up kind of high and it was probably still quite dangerous, but it was better to err on the side of caution. I mean, the warnings were pretty dire, as you can probably see from right here.
Scale of 1 to 10, how bad are you expecting this to be?
Well, it's going to be pretty close to 10, I think.
So it's best to heed the warnings. As an emergency service worker myself, I'd hate to put other emergency service workers in that position of having to come rescue my sorry ass. So it was better to put it off, and unfortunately Christmas happened, weekend work duty, that sort of stuff, so had to put it off until now. But that's okay, we've got good weather and good spots to paddle, so and hopefully we can catch some fish. I mean, that's probably the whole reason I'm out here, trying to catch some fish. So we'll see how we go. I don't know whether you can hear it, but you can already hear the weir up ahead, so now I've just got to try and figure out how we get around it. There's a little bit of an island here in the middle of it, but I reckon we might go over to that right hand bank there and assess the situation and see how we can get around it. I think I might just go and scout this one out first, just to see what's the best way to drag the kayak through and where I can launch it again. You can see there, probably not a good place to go. I don't want to get hung up on all of that. So we'll walk downstream and see where we can go. Hopefully I don't have to drag it too far. So I've just come up on this little beach, which is downstream of all those rapids, where I can launch the kayak. I've just got to drag it down through this gutter, across some rocks and stuff, but it's a good 50-metre drag that I've got to do, so I better get to work because I don't want to lose too much time, get into camp too late. Champ from The Wandering Electrician. They guys sent me some cool stickers a couple of weeks ago, and I put them on my kayak so I could let them know that they're coming to paddle with me in Australia. So if you guys are watching, here's your shout out, and we'll talk to you soon, boys. Yeah. Alright. Hopefully the first and only portage for the day. However, there's lots of logs in this lower section of the river, so we may have to dodge some of them. Mosquitoes are getting pretty bad already. Alright, let's keep moving. Somebody lost their unicorn. I hope the police won't be looking for that one, like they were for the other kayak that I found. I think it's high time that I give my wife Louise a shout out. My beautiful wife Louise took it upon herself to get me a GoPro Hero 6 Black Edition camera for my birthday, and you can talk to it. Watch this. GoPro, start recording. Good boy. And it starts recording. And you can say, GoPro, stop recording. GoPro, stop recording. And it does it. And you can even say, GoPro, turn off. Very, very handy voice control. How you going? Are you trying to throw mud at me? No, he's alright. Yeah, no. Come here.
He doesn't like water very much.
Oh. Lots of people out this morning enjoying the river on this beautiful 2nd of January. Why wouldn't they? It's bloody beautiful out here at the moment. There's not a breath of wind. It's not overly hot, and it won't get overly hot all day, so prime conditions for being out on the water. I think it's time to have a bit of a fish. We'll try to catch a fish. That reminds me, you might have seen on the last video I caught a Murray cod with this little rod. It's only about 4 foot long. Someone asked me what's the go with the the short rod. This is a Hemingway whipstick, and they're specifically designed to be used on kayaks. The reason being is that if you've got a full length, maybe a 6-foot rod, if you catch a fish or something, you've got to like push the whole rod out to the side and try and hold it out of the water while you're retrieving the fish, whereas this rod, you can still hold it up at the grip there where the reel is and be able to reach the end of it. So the theory is that being shorter makes it easier to handle on the kayak, so that's why I went and got one of these Hemingway whipsticks. I don't know where you can buy them commercially. I got this one off eBay, so I didn't see anything in the big stores like BCF and Complete Angler and that sort of thing that had something like that, so I thought I'll go to trusty eBay and have a look. Sure enough, 4-foot kayak rod. So what I've done is I've paired it with a Daiwa Sweetfire E2500, which is a nice little rod, reel. Not the most expensive of reels, but I mean, at the end of the day, it's all about catching fish, isn't it? So, and as you saw in the last video there, it caught me fish. While I'm on the subject, go and check out the last video, which is called Ovens River Kayak Camping, or Kayak Camping on the Ovens River. And that is a trip I did in late November 2017, where I went from a place called Pioneer Bridge to the township of Wangaratta, where I set off on this trip from. And that whole trip was about, was it 32, 35 kilometres, something like that, which is the total that we'll be doing today. So trips are getting ever bigger each time. Jeez, I don't know what's wrong with me this morning. I was feeling super sluggish. Maybe Christmas did a number on me. Christmas should be a relaxing time, not a hectic time. No, it was good running around to see all the family and everything, but we have a little 8-month-old boy at home who loves to wake up at all hours, and he got me up at 5 o'clock this morning, so I guess that's why I'm in a bit of a funk at the moment. If you're watching, thanks Tom. But we'll just have to power through it. I mean, I've given myself the best chance by starting nice and early in the morning to do the 32 Ks to Frost, but I mean, it's not the be all and end all. If I just can't be bothered, or whatever reason, just run out of puff, we could probably find a place to camp a bit earlier. This section of the river, you can probably see there, is very steep bank, so there's not a lot of access points. So if I do need to find another camp spot, it's going to be difficult with all the steep banks. Even just finding a spot to pull over and have a break might be difficult. So it might not matter if I'm too buggered to continue, I'm just going to have to, unless I tie up to a log or something and just have a break, but I won't be able to reach my food, so we'll just have to persevere. Just found my own little private island to stop at for a break, because my butt's numb already, which isn't a good sign. I've only been on the water not quite 2 hours yet, but I've made pretty good progress so far. I reckon I'm at least a quarter of the way for today's paddling, so that's not so bad. I mean, I said before that I was feeling a bit sluggish, but just having a look at the map just then just picked my spirits up a little bit, so we might sit here and take a break and get some feeling back in my butt before I get back in the kayak and keep going. I haven't seen one of those for a while. Actually get mussels in the river here, so there's a little mussel shell. Cool. If only this island was near the spot where I was going to camp, because I'd actually camp on this island. This is awesome. Nice and high up off the river. Sandy, you could walk around in bare feet. There's some good trees here to string a hammock up. I just let the cat out of the bag, that's what I'm sleeping in tonight. Man, what a awesome campsite that would have been. Oh well, hopefully we can find something like that further downstream to be able to camp at tonight. Mob of Angus cows and calves there, taking me back to my childhood as a beef farmer in the Ovens Valley, up near Warby, where I started my last trip. Lots of fun memories there. So I just pulled up for a bit of lunch. Couldn't really find a decent spot to pull up because of the steepness of all the banks around here. I did find this one spot, but you could probably see the cattle have just chewed up the mud, and it was hell getting up that bank. I know it probably doesn't look like it looking down near the kayak, but I almost had to walk up the bank on all fours. I reckon I'm almost halfway of today's paddle, so if that's the case, I've probably done about 15 to 16 kilometres already. I'm just feeling really stiff and sore, so it's going to be a struggle this afternoon. Hopefully I'll be able to do some fishing, but it's at the moment it's just a bit of a struggle because I'm feeling so stiff and sore, and probably pretty tired too after the last week or so. Right, just finished lunch. New battery in the camera, hopefully new battery in me too. I need it. Yeah, had some jerky and a few other high protein things to give me some energy this afternoon to paddle through the afternoon. I've just had a look on Google Maps to see whereabouts I am, and yeah, I'm pretty much right on halfway. I mean, it's hard to tell when the river's so windy exactly how far along you are. I mean, I did use the emergency management common operating picture tool that I used last time to figure out the distance, but this time I didn't print out maps to see how to bring with me. I didn't think it was needed. I mean, it's nice to sort of follow along, but it's kind of hard to do that in this kayak, to have the maps out all the time. Would be good on a sit inside kayak to have them sort of strapped to the hole in front of you, but I just find the less things that you can have in the cockpit of this sort of kayak, the better, because it just gets really messy really quickly and can get kind of annoying. So one less thing to bring. And as I said, I didn't really use the maps that much last time, but in saying that, the tool is very handy to work out how long the river is, or the bit of the river that you're actually paddling. So I did that, and that's how I figured out the distance. Well, it was bound to happen at some point or another, but I've come up to this. This tree is completely blocking the river, and I'm going to have to figure out a way to get around it. I could possibly cross it there, but that means having to exit in deep water, but I think I'll take the safe option and go and get out at the bank, but then I've got to drag across all of the head of the tree.
Well, I just went and scouted out across the head there, and it's going to be an absolute pain to try and re-enter the kayak through all that over there, so unfortunately I'm going to have to try and exit on top of the log, manhandle the kayak over it, and then try and get back in it. I've got the kayak across, and this is probably going to be the hardest bit though, is getting back in it.
Well, that's handy to know that I can do that. Across the log midstream. I know it sounded like a bit of effort, but I reckon it would have been a lot less effort than trying to portage the kayak around the top of that tree, because it was just I don't know what, it would have been terrible though. So I stopped to take another break and have a stretch, and there's a nice little sandbar here, and I thought, oh well, what better time than any to wet a line. I've also, as well as the Hemingway whipstick, I've also brought along my Shimano bait caster, which is a Shimano Starlo Classics rod, and I've got a Shimano KS201 left-hand retrieve bait caster reel. I don't know why people insist on using right-hand retrieve reels and then switching, casting out with their right hand and then switching over every time. That just doesn't seem efficient to me, so I went with the left-hand retrieve. So just using a little shallow diving hard body lure here, this little guy. See what I can get. It's probably not the best time of day, like it's just after 1 o'clock. Fish don't tend to bite, especially lures at this time, but thought I'd just give it a go anyway, see how we go. Four?
Yeah, just in real quick time, like.
Wow.
Got one this morning that just took him straight up.
Yeah.
Snag and lost it, and then probably went 4 hours without a touch, and then just half the hour just gone nuts.
Awesome.
Yeah.
Alright, I'll have to better get back on it again then.
Yeah.
Cool.
Good luck with it, mate.
Yeah, same to you.
Sounds like a ripper little trip.
Just ran into a fellow kayak fisherman. His name was Luke from Melbourne, and he just told me that he has a company called Skeleton Spinnerbaits. So half the reason why I'm recording this is so I remember the name of the company. But we'll go and check them out, Skeleton Spinnerbaits, because I'm a big fan of spinnerbaits, so I'll go and see what they got. And the funny thing is, I just lost one of the brand new spinnerbaits I bought not that long ago, and just as I was breaking it off, I found this little surface lure. So it's a little jitterbug style surface lure, so we'll give that one a try out tonight. Well, I do believe that we have reached Frosts, which is the start of the Warby-Ovens National Park, which means that we've done 32 kilometres of paddling since we left Wangaratta, which means that tomorrow we have another 18, so a hell of a lot better than 32, that's for sure. But yeah, there's a cool little sandbar here. This is all accessible by road as well, so there's probably people camping through here at the moment. So we might pull up here, see if we can't bump onto the sandbar. Kayak pulled up on the sandbar, let's go and have a look. Oh yeah, it's a place for a fire just there. Now, some of these trees here might be good to string a hammock up. Good distance apart. So I finally reached camp after 32 k's, and I'm pretty knackered now. I think I bit off a little bit more than I can chew. I'm only an amateur kayaker, so live and learn though, but it's kind of worth it though. There's a pretty cool sandbar here. This is right on the edge of the national park, so there's a whole heap of camping spots throughout this area of the river, and there's sounds like there's people everywhere. Like right there, those guys just came through before and launched their boat to get up the river. There's also another boat just downstream there too, so there seems to be a lot of people around, but that's alright. We've got to share the national park. So now I'm going to unload the kayak and take all the stuff up there and set up my camp up top there. There's a nice little fire pit and everything up there, and then I'll be able to drag the kayak up when it's empty, because it's a pretty steep slope, so that way I can have everything up there with me and not have to go backwards and forwards down here to get stuff. Found something that is almost exactly like paracord, and it is this Venetian blind cord. You can get it at hardware stores, and I think I got this one from, no I got this from Bunnings. It was like $5, and it is a roll of 30 meters. And I just threw that in the kayak. If you ever need extra cordage, you know, you can hang up a line for a bit of clothesline or something like that. I thought that was a really cool little hack. Alrighty, got camp basically set up. Actually managed to drag the kayak up that steep slope after I unpacked it all and dragged it up here empty, because I wanted it to be close by should I need to get anything out of it or what's left that's in it. So everything's in nice close proximity. Got the tarp and the hammock set up, got my chair set up, everything's there that I need. So right now I'm actually collecting some firewood, but it's kind of windy tonight. Hopefully the wind drops out and we can actually light it, but if the wind stays up I don't think I'll light the fire, because I don't fancy it getting out and starting a bushfire. So these are a surface lure. What are they? They're called tailor-made lures, these ones. And the idea is that this funny bib that it's got on the front helps it sort of walk across the surface, and supposedly fish see that as a bit of a wounded fish or something like that and come up and bash it. That's better. Just slowly retrieve it. See, it's sort of zigzagging. You probably can't see from here, but it's kind of zigzagging across the water and making a hell of a racket. See, that's kind of walking across the surface. Ah, that's much better. So I've been waiting for the wind to die down a bit so I can light the stove and start boiling some water. It has died down a little bit, but not all the way. Hopefully it dies down before dark because I don't want to be swinging in the hammock. So I need to boil some water so that I can have another one of these backcountry freeze-dried cuisines. Now the last one I had, what was that? The beef stroganoff. It was terrible. The meat was like kind of crunchy, so I'm going to give it another shot, and this time I'm going to have spaghetti bolognese. Oh, and another thing too, last time I got the double serve and I didn't even know it, so there was way more there than I needed. So this pack's like half the size, and it's a single serve. Okay, water is boiled. So let's tip it into the pack without burning ourselves. And then close the packet up. Alright, it's been about 10 minutes, so ooh, it smells good. Better than the beef stroganoff, I'll say that much. The mosquitoes have come out now, so I'm going to retreat into the mosquito net. But I'll say goodnight now, and I'll talk to you guys in the morning. Morning. Well, for my first night in a hammock, it made a good tent. I reckon I lasted about an hour and a half in it, and the wind was howling and it just got cold, so I thought, no, before I get even colder I'm going to put it on the ground so that I don't get freezing, and that is the result. My hammock became basically a bivvy bag. Then I had a visitor who came down the tree there and decided to sniff around my face. Possum. And then he shot off back up the tree again. But that wasn't all. Then I had another visitor. It was the four-wheeled variety. I woke up to a four-wheel drive almost reversing on top of me, literally. Well, that's what it seemed when I woke up in a start. Oh my god. Someone did... This is like a dead-end sort of track. And someone must have driven in here and realised that I was camped here and did a quick three-point turn and took off again. But in the process, the ute backed up to about here, I reckon, the four-wheel drive. I reckon the back of the four-wheel drive was over my guy ropes there. Anyway, just having some a quick start for breakfast, and then I'll get packed up. It's about 7:15, so I need to get moving if I'm going to get on the water by 8 to get down to Peechelba by 1 o'clock. Well, it's just after 8 o'clock and I've just cast off from the Frost campsite, and I've got about 18 kilometres to do today to get to Peechelba for my ride. Now, I couldn't get any of my family members to come pick me up because they're either busy with friends or at home caring for our child. So I've enlisted the services of a local company called River-Tribe Adventures. River-Tribe Adventures specialise in kayak trips down local waters, most notably this one, the Ovens River. And they do all sorts of tours, so guided tours, self-guided, one day, overnight. So you can actually pay them to just come pick you up from wherever you are, all your gear and everything, and bring you back to your vehicle. So that's who I'll be meeting in Peechelba this afternoon, early this afternoon. I've said that I'd be there at roughly 1 o'clock, so I've given myself a little bit of leeway just in case I take a bit longer, but should be a lot better day than yesterday. I think with yesterday I probably bit off a little bit more than I could chew. I mean, I did it, but it wasn't, I don't think it was as enjoyable as I thought it would be, because I had to work so hard to get there. I couldn't stop, couldn't fish too much because I was on a tight timeline, and consequently didn't have the greatest of times. But live and learn though. So from now on I'll be trying to keep my days paddling to around about 20 kilometres at the most, I think. So that way you get to enjoy it. I mean, this part of the river though, there's not a lot of places to pull over. You can probably see there that it's all just steep sides up each side. So you're kind of forced to keep paddling, which isn't, it's not very helpful when your legs start to tighten up. You get sore hamstrings and calves, and your butt's going to sleep, and all you want to do is get out and have a stretch, but which only served to inflame the tiredness that I had yesterday. But that's okay, it was an experience. It's something that I can say that I've done. Remember how I said yesterday about how I'd love to camp on an island when I was stopped on that little island, which was only about 2 k's in? Well, if I'd have come another 2 k's further from where I camped last night, I could have had that one.
Always happens to you. As soon as you better pull up for the camp the next morning on your travels, you see an even better campsite. If only you'd come just a little bit further. Tense in the back and legs, but I've done a bit of fishing this morning, but no luck, unfortunately. A lot of campers that I've spoken to, and there are a lot of people out here this week, being the new year, have said that all the fish they've caught have been on bait mostly, so I'm kind of equipped for lure fishing, so yeah, it looks like using bait was the way to go. Anyway, live and learn. I figure we're about halfway to Peechelba, so done that in about an hour and a half, so we're ahead of schedule, which is good. I don't know whether I've mentioned this before, but the Australian bush in the morning is a very, very noisy place to be. You've probably heard in the background over the trip the screeching parrots. Those parrots are cockatoos, and they're especially active in the morning. So I'm getting real close to my destination now, and I've counted the bends that I've got to negotiate before I get there, and I've got 4 bends to go. Bend 1, bend 2, bend 3, bend 4. The river just decided to throw up one more hurdle for me before I get out, so here I was thinking it was just going to be plain sailing all the way. We've just got to get through this little log jam. Yeah. Wasn't going to let me off that easy. And this is it. However, it looks like I've got one last challenge. I've got to get up that, and it looks steep. Now I've just got to figure out the name of this road so that I can call River Tribe and let them know where I am. Oh, hang on, there's a gate up there. Hopefully we don't have to drag up to that gate because it's locked. River Tribe have dropped me back to my vehicle and I've got the kayak on the roof now. What an epic adventure. I'm not going to lie, I found it tough. I found that first day just really tough on my back and my legs and obviously my arms and neck. I mean, I'm not an experienced or expert kayaker, but I still found it tough. I just want to say thank you to all of the support that I've been getting on my channel. My channel's grown pretty quickly in the last month or so, ever since I put out the last Ovens River kayak camping video, which has been getting a really great response, lots of comments on there. So I can only hope that this next video that I've just finished filming gets the same response. So if you could get in and if you haven't, get in and check out the Ovens River kayak camping video that I did last month, and before you check out this one, and yeah, please jump on and like and subscribe, and we'll check you guys out on the next adventure.